Le Québec est très actif au niveau de l'intégration et la rétention des femmes dans l'industrie de la construction. On n'a qu'à penser à l'organisme Fier et Compétent ou à l'Association de la construction du Québec. Aux États-Unis, l'organisme MCC contribue lui aussi à encourager la gente féminine à prendre sa place. Des initiatives qui changent des vies.
The Millennium Challenge Corporation, or MCC, is a U.S. foreign assistance agency that supports poverty reduction through economic growth. MCC forms partnerships with developing country governments who are committed to good governance, economic freedom, and investing in their citizens.
In each country where we work, the partner governments we work with form agencies called Millennium Challenge Accounts, or MCAs. The MCA award contracts to firms to implement projects.
Since 2012, MCC has facilitated women's employment in construction in multiple ways. First, works contracts include voluntary targets for women's recruitment or encouraging language. Contractors and supervisory engineers have social and gender specialists or managers to oversee contractors' performance on labor-related objectives and social safeguards requirements. And MCAs facilitate, monitor, and support women's employment on MCC-funded contracts.
MCC standard bidding documents include requirements to enforce safe and gender equitable labor and working conditions. These include prohibition of sexual harassment and discrimination, safe, appropriate hygiene facilities that provide for workers' privacy, and equitable opportunities for women and other groups to participate in and benefit from MCC-funded activities.
Bills of quantity for infrastructure projects may include specific lines for gender and social inclusion-related costs. Examples include specifications, environmental and social management plans, training to prevent sexual harassment, and enforcement of non-discrimination policies.
MCC recognizes the power of our high-budget projects to drive change and the potential of procurement processes as a means to promote women's employment and gender equality within MCC projects. At the same time, we follow procurement guidelines that require non-discrimination and prohibit the use of quotas or preferences in contracting or in the contractor's hiring practices. Working with these guidelines, how do we encourage and facilitate women's employment in construction at both the manager and worker level? What are the most effective ways to attract bidders in ways that promote women's employment in construction? How do we promote companies that come up with creative ideas about how to place women in jobs where there are cultural barriers and lack of skills?
MCC-funded infrastructure procurements increasingly include targets for women's employment, yet we do not see enough women on MCC-funded infrastructure job sites. How do we celebrate women role models in construction and combat negative stereotypes?
MCC requires record-keeping of temporary employment in construction across all of our projects. But the scope of our projects vary widely from country to country. It's been challenging for us to measure our success in placing and retaining women in construction in a consistent way. This boils down to four main challenges. First, can we consider job placement alone success? Second, how do we find a common indicator of success for retention of women when projects vary from small works, like construction of schools, to large works, like construction of energy plants and water purification plants? Third, to understand retention and stability of employment, can we move from tracking aggregate employment numbers to tracking individual employees over time? And fourth, how do we track women's employment in different skill, occupational, and pay levels in a way that's comparable across projects and countries without becoming overly burdensome to the contractors, MCAs, or MCC?
We want to thank the Quebec Construction Association for the opportunity to participate in this video series. We are proud to support their efforts to raise awareness on the importance of including women in the construction sector because we agree that construction is conjugated in the feminine.